Oh yeah, sexy biscuits. Nice.
Long Boys Blues, 1975. YouTubers on the rise. Reviewing games late at night and sometimes friends. But Long Boys Blues, 1975.
Hey YouTube, Long Boys Post 1975, and welcome to the weekly driving vlog. Still weekly driving vlogs, which sounds a bit stupid because I'm running on petrol, but I'd like to try and find different ways to go home because I'm sort of conscious that you get to see the same thing every week. And as stupid as that sounds, I'm conscious that, oh my god, they might be a bit bored. They've seen that before, they haven't seen this before. And yeah, city? Yeah, possibly. Anyway, wouldn't be a vlog if I didn't give you a bit of a random, waffle at the start. But come on, cloud up, cloud up. It's supposed to be cloudy today, and I like that because I want to go to bed. In fact, I'll do you a deal, nature, weather, both of you. You can be uncloudy until the point where I've watched both episodes of Cheers, both episodes of Frasier, and possibly one episode of Everybody Loves Raymond, because that is my unwinding process after breakfast, which is technically supper, in the morning before I go to bed. Yep, there we go. Why not start every every vlog with a bit of pointless waffleage? Right, what do I want to talk about? Many people talked about this before, and I touched upon one of these systems many moons ago. We're talking possibly 7 years ago when I first started my channel, or a year into my channel, and that is your biggest failed or non-purchase of a gaming system, your biggest regret of one. And it's something because someone was PMing me the other day and said, hey, I noticed that in one of your vlogs that you were talking about, look at that, mind. You were talking about you once had the opportunity to buy a CD32 for £30 or £29, and I did, and it's bugged me ever since that I did not. Pointless bit of history here, you won't see it, so take my word for it, but on the left, now, behind that bus shelter, is Whitemead House, which is the exterior block of flats used in the later episodes of Only Fools and Horses. You can see it when they're at the market, which is in Bristol City's car park. Many people seem to think that it is actually a block of flats in London that is due to be demolished, that David Jason wants to have made a listed building. But no, that was in the early episodes of Only Fools and Horses. The one used of all the years afterwards was that one we just passed then. I'll see if I can find a picture of it from Facebook and put it up, or I might just find a random picture, or maybe I won't, or maybe I should get a white stick. Anyway, sorry, yeah, I'll get to the point now. Yeah, failed or non-purchase systems that you have a massive regret for not getting, maybe because they were super cheap, maybe because now, whether they weren't super cheap, but they've always been super rare, and you've never, they still, I wouldn't go as far as to say they haunt your dreams or stuff, although I do occasionally dream about this moment, two of these moments. But yeah, for me there are three big regrets. Now obviously I have to talk about hindsight. Hindsight is a wonderful thing. It's easy for us to look back now and just say, damn it, why didn't I buy that? Not just because it was cheap, like I said, but because it was rare and it showed up on my doorstep, and even then I should have known that I'll never see one again. And yeah, so like I said, that's hindsight. But even now as an adult, right, I can say, with all the systems I got, because I'm a retro gamer and retro collector, and that I like to juggle multiple systems at once, and own modern systems as well as old systems. The point being, I don't tie myself to one system, nor did I back then. I was playing Spectrum when I owned my Master System. Hell, I was playing Spectrum when I owned my Mega Drive. So for whatever reason, why didn't I buy these systems? Having too many systems was never a valid excuse, and I'm sure, and that's why I'm asking this question, I'm sure everyone's got these moments, these bits, you know, experiences are out in the wild, whether it is a few weeks ago or way back in the day when we had a chance to buy these systems. I'll get to my systems in a minute, honest to God, I swear I will. But yeah, so I'm going to start off with one that is really kind of back in the day, but was a no-brainer for, you know, well, it wasn't no-brainer because I didn't buy it, but, you know, no-brainer to mention in this video, and that is when my brother, because he bought an Atari Jaguar, and he bought it when I had my PlayStation. My PlayStation is a common theme and why I didn't purchase two of these systems, because I'm going to talk about three systems. But yeah, I had my PlayStation and he had his you know, Atari Jaguar, but I absolutely adored and loved Aliens vs Predator and Doom on it. Doom on it was the first time I got to play Doom, because it was the preserve of, you know, console gamers for so long. And yeah, I've always thought to myself to this day, oh, he would have done me a deal. I remember taking it round my mate's houses and pimping it up and trying to sell it for him, and he didn't even want that much for it. I can't remember. He had three games, Aliens vs Predator, Doom and Iron Soldier, which, to be fair, I actually quite like Iron Soldier, and Cybermorph. But Cybermorph, you know, where did you learn to fly? Many fuck-offs around the world, or fuck yous was said to that voice, but that doesn't count. But yeah, and I think he only wanted 160 quid for it in like 94, 95. We'll ignore, you know, adjusting for inflation. I hate it when people do that. But I just remember thinking, no, oh, I should have. And a few years afterwards, I remember when I still had my PlayStation, because obviously Doom came out on the PlayStation, but I'm sorry, Atari Jaguar version's better. You know, yeah, why didn't I? That bit really annoyed me. Like I said, he would have done me a deal. And obviously now they're super expensive, and I'm pretty much never going to have the chance to own one. I mean, never say never and touch wood, but I guarantee one's not going to drop into my lap for anything more than it is actually worth, or even over inflation, because that's how people sell shit, isn't it? So that's my first regret, and that was because, you know, that was family. You know, that was family. That was doable. Possibly even work out a payment plan. There is no reason I shouldn't have bought that. Again, coming back to what I said earlier about, you know, owning a system at the same time, isn't it? That's all right, mate. You don't need to signal. Him in front, by the way. Yeah, you know, there is no reason not to buy because you own another system. Because all through my life, you know, I've had an Atari Lynx and a Game Boy. They may be handheld, but I was juggling them with a Mega Drive, a Master System, and a Spectrum. So should have bought that Jaguar. The next one, Jaguar, not Jaguar. The next one that, and I mentioned this years ago, and it wasn't technically working, but there was nothing wrong with the system, and that was, I remember, and possibly this would have been a decade ago, and Cash Converters in Bedminster had a Neo Geo. Now I can't remember, is it MVS? I get confused, but it was the big fuck off, you know, really large square unit with the absolutely amazing, you know, joystick, like basically arcade stick. But for whatever reason, there was a problem with the power, and they wanted £60 for it. £60 for it. I don't know what that system goes for now. Obviously working, but I'm pretty sure it is a lot of bloody money. Yes, it didn't have a game. That would have been an immediate problem if I bought it and had fixed it, and maybe I couldn't have fixed it. I'm pretty sure I could have recouped it on parts for someone else, or even the joystick. But I remember thinking and walking by and just going, it just said £60, unknown power fault. That was it. Obviously back then they would sell that, no, you know, knowing that someone would be interested in it because of what the system it is. Probably would not do that now, because selling stuff sold as seen, or, you know, not working, or as a fixer-upper, or selling for parts is a no-no in the high street, second-hand wise, isn't it? Or maybe it's not. Maybe I've been misled by laws and rules and, you know, trading standards and shit like that. But yeah, I've always remember thinking, fuck it, I'm working or not. Why did I not buy that? That was like stupid Dave, slap self in head. That is a stupid moment that occasionally I dream about. Yeah, real kicker. Like I said, no games, everything there of the unit, the leads and the joystick, just power supply issues. That's all it said. They tested it and it wouldn't work, it wouldn't power up. I remember, coming back the next day, not to make a point of buying it, but my thoughts were kind of, if it's there, I'll buy it. And obviously it wasn't, because someone was more intelligent than me, stupid Dave, and bought it. And the final one is the CD32. Now, we know that this was a humongous failure, and even back then I thought this is a shit system. Not having a pop at people with Amigas and stuff like that. My brother had an Amiga, I've got one now. Obviously that was basically a CD version of the 1200, and it was the first CD of the first 32-bit CD systems, and it was massively expensive. And I remember thinking, because I owned a PlayStation, when I saw this at this price, £29, £30, then there was a whole table of them. I'm jumping ahead of myself. I remember thinking, I owned a PlayStation when this showed up, but thinking, why would I ever want a CD32 when I have the pinnacle of 32-bit systems? It's not going to be anywhere near as good. It's not got anywhere near the library. And and again, this whole, but just fucking buy it. For that price, there were bound to be games on it you would play or want to play and juggle multiple systems. And now, as we know, it's quite the sought after machine that quite a few people want, even though it's got that weird upside down shit control pad. But yeah, so basically, my dad, who remembers Macro? It was a place where you could go. It was like a cash and carry for people who were self-employed, because my dad owned his own garage. We had a Macro card, so we could go there and you could buy stuff and claim the cash back. And they had a whole table boxed, obviously sealed, because this is a new store, of CD32s and a whole pile of games like it. £2, £3, £5 at most a pop. And I remember walking by it and going, curious, it's an interesting thing, it's 30 quid, toying with buying, as in I actually did toy with buying it, and then come to the conclusion, I got a PlayStation, why do I need that? And again, hindsight, but Dave, you fucking muppet, you should have bought one just to experience it, just to see what was offered on it, even though you had your PlayStation, and then you should have somehow future-proofed yourself. I don't know how you would have known to do this, and bought a second one that you could have kept as a backup. Not sold, because I wasn't minted back then, but I could have afforded 60 quid and, some games and stuff. But yeah, bought another one to future-proof yourself. And it's, alright, that is my biggest failed console purchase, given the opportunity to do such. I have. I mean, the other two, they still stick a lump in my throat and shit like that. But that CD32 one, and not just because obviously the oddity and how sort of in demand it is now, but it's a fucking Amiga, Dave. Essentially, it's an Amiga. Regardless of the fact that you had a PlayStation, there was good software on it. And yeah, that one really does. I think about that one, I'm going to say every day. But that one really does stick there, and leave a lump in my throat, sadness, if I can say such a phrase, for why the fuck did I not buy one of those? Why? I mean, I wasn't fucking stupid or anything back then. I mean, I know I'd like to think, more intelligence and life skills, and experience now, but I wasn't a fucking simpleton. Why didn't I buy it? So, I'd love to know what you think. I'm pretty sure it's safe to say everyone has one of these moments, I'll go to quote Homer Simpson, I'll go a little later. And when I went back, the man from the mall said Mr. T had gone and he was never coming back. So, I think that's the one as well, where you just think, you change your mind, you come back and it's gone. But yeah, I think it's safe to say we've all got one of these moments at least, maybe not three. And I'd love to know what yours are, if you have any. And thank you very much for watching, as always, and I'll see you later.